everyone, and welcome to Keeping It Real with Steph and Kev. I'm Steph.
And I'm Kev, and we're keeping it real. This is show number 5.
And today, we're going to be talking about peace. Do you have it?
Well, do you?
Good question, Kev.
Thank you very much. And before we get into our show topic for today about peace, we're going to basically go over our show premise once again, which is the story of a man that set off to change the world, but he realized that the world would not change. So he decided to change only his country, but that too seemed immovable. So then he decides to go and just change his family, and they're like, no, it's not happening. So then eventually he's on his deathbed, and then perhaps for the first time in his life, he realizes that had he changed himself first and made that individual change, that he could have bettered his family, bettered his country, and who knows, Steph? He could have even changed the world.
That's right. And so on today's show, we're going to be talking about peace. And peace is not just an abstract notion.
Right.
Peace is not just an issue facing people in third world countries. Peace is relevant in our own individual worlds here today. And we really need to recognize that. And on today's show, we're going to be talking with some guests who can witness how important peace is.
And I think so many people today, they have this idea of peace as being like this concept that, we have to solve it like in third world countries, where we have to like solve world hunger or solve poverty or something like that, when it starts with the individual. It starts with an individual change. We just talked about it in our show premise.
Right. So we're going to go on now and talk about Mother Teresa.
Mother T.
And Mother Teresa, now, she was not anti-war. She was not anti-abortion. She was not anti-this, anti-that.
Right.
Rather, she was pro-something.
Exactly.
Pro-peace, pro-happiness, pro-love, pro-just spreading that peace, joy, and love all over the world. And
the thing is, like with her, she would never attend an anti-war rally, but if it was a pro-peace movement, she said, invite me. And so I think there's just like we're focusing on what we don't want, and as a result of it, we're getting more of it. And so it's just, there's just a war on terrorism, war on poverty, war on teen pregnancy. There's wars on everything. Right. We just keep focusing on this. We need to have that law of reversal, that opposite type of thinking, where we're going to go for that pro-peace type of thinking.
Right,
mentality.
And some other people like that.
We got Gandhi, we got King.
That's
right. So their premise was basically that they talked about that for peace, to have peace, to have true peace, that it's not only the absence of violence, but it's also to have the presence of justice, something in place. Exactly.
Right. And then also Martin Luther King Jr. was a huge advocate of this.
Oh, definitely.
He did not attend the anti-war rallies or anything. No. He did not try to protest. Rather, he tried to instill this new notion, this new concept of we need to be pro-something. We cannot keep waging wars against the things we don't want. Rather, we have to work for the things that we do want. And on today's show, we have a world peace leader with us.
A peacemaker.
And does he have peace?
You bet you he does.
He does. We'd like to welcome Coach Clayton. Thank you very much for being here, Coach.
Thanks for being here,
Coach. It's an honor.
Kev, for having me be on the show. I don't know if our viewers are aware, but I had the good pleasure of coaching Kevin in high school, and it's a great opportunity to get the invitation to be with you here today.
Well, thank you so much for coming.
Pleasure's all ours, Coach.
So, do you want to tell us a little bit about what is your purpose? Now, you're a basketball coach, among other things, but what is your purpose, and how does peace factor into all of that?
I really appreciated your introduction. My purpose actually is to positively impact each life I come into contact with through agape.
Okay. And agape, you mean?
Agape, probably need some definition of terms here. Agape is a Greek word actually for unconditional love, which is basically doing random acts of kindness expecting nothing in return.
Okay.
I've actually had the good fortune, to just lay a little bit of background here, I've had the good fortune of being able to travel around the world. I lived in Jordan for 3 years.
Oh, wow.
I was fortunate enough to be able to play pro basketball there.
Oh, wow.
And coach there and made lots of friends. And I'm actually wearing a watch that King Hussein gave me.
Oh, wow. Can we zoom in on that watch?
It actually, this watch would get me passed through guards and checkpoint Charlies and whatnot. But yeah, I don't know if you can see the watch or if I'm holding it in front of the camera.
Yeah, there we go.
Get the angle. But anyways, King Hussein's name is on that watch. But
oh man, that's awesome.
The reason why I bring my background there up is I had the opportunity to kind of get a perspective from different cultures and peoples all over the world.
Right.
And King Hussein was one of the top promoters of peace in the world, and very beloved by his people.
Right.
And in fact, he had, I don't know how many heads of state. I think he had over 100 heads of state at his funeral when he passed away.
Wow.
I was there from 93 to 96.
Okay.
And I think he passed away in 2000. I think was the year he passed away. His son now, King Abdullah, is the king. But I learned a lot from him about peace.
Okay.
And how he, of course, he's in the middle of the Palestinian-Israeli conflict over there, and he was one of the more accepting leaders over there.
Exactly.
And throughout my walk, I've kind of learned from him and other people that really true peace actually comes down to what you guys talked about at the beginning of your show, and that is an internal identity issue.
Okay.
Right.
You know, we can look at problems in the world at a country perspective. There could be war. Even in families, I think we have problems in families and marriages. I mean, you can take it at any level that you want, but my opinion is true peace and inner happiness only comes when you really know your identity of who you are.
Right.
Now I'm going to share some thoughts with you here that might be new. Some may agree with, some may not agree with. But this is my opinion. Is I believe we are a trichotomous creation.
Right.
What is that?
Body, soul, and spirit.
Okay.
Body, soul, and spirit.
Okay.
And that spiritual component is really who we are and where our identity rests.
Right.
Now, when you say spiritual, does that necessarily have to be a religious spirit? Or can someone be non-religious and still have a spirit?
That's a very good question, and this is a topic I actually love to talk about.
Great.
Religion, in my opinion, is a little bit more man-made. When I'm talking about spiritual, I'm talking about who we truly are.
Okay.
It's not a list of laws or rules, but when our Creator made us, He made us in His likeness and in His image, and He's spirit. And that, to me, is where the peace really lies, because that's where our oneness rests.
With ourselves and each other.
That's exactly right.
Okay.
That spiritual component is where we really, truly are the same. And when one member of the body suffers, the whole body suffers, or when one is exalted, we're all exalted, and where we can really have that bonding and understanding. The soul and the spirit is what brings our uniqueness, which makes this world a beautiful place.
Right.
But I can't tell you the peace I have of knowing my identity as a child of the Most High and wanting to radiate that. And now that I understand that, radiating that truth, which is agape, which is unconditional love, expecting nothing in return to whoever I come into contact with. And for me, that happens to be in basketball and with kids.
Okay.
Exactly.
Great.
And I believe in doing it not through religion where you're preaching to kids or where you're giving them these list of rules, but through relationship.
Through action.
Through action and
attitude.
And doing activities together and building a bond of trust.
Right.
Exactly.
And that's where I feel like the unity really comes in, is where we're being proactive, like you mentioned in your intro. Reaching out to people. Expecting nothing in return. Just doing random acts of kindness, expecting nothing in return. And I really believe if people truly understood who they were, that would be a natural manifestation of their words and their actions to really make this world a better place. And I think if we could start at the grassroots there, it would positively impact everything. It would impact marriages, it would impact companies. I think it's a huge proponent to our team success.
Right.
Exactly.
We do a lot of things: team building, team bonding, ropes courses, whirly ball, team dinners, where we're kind of having to interact and relate with each other, and you know what? It shows up on the court.
Right.
When you're friends and you're tight and you have some bonds there, it just manifests itself out into being a much more team that passes the ball around, shares the ball, trust with each other on defense. So
they actually want to. They're not being told to do it.
Exactly. It's intrinsic motivation.
Right.
Intrinsic.
Let me ask you this, Coach.
Yes.
So, do you think that some people say that the wars in the world, or all the problems, or hunger, or whatever issues we're all facing today, are causing us to have the individual problems in our lives. They're causing us to have anxiety every day,
Right.
that something might happen violent to us, or that, we argue over politics, we argue over what we should do to solve, all sorts of wars in the world. But do you feel that maybe it's because we are having these own wars in ourselves that is perpetuating the world and affecting the world, and we individually are actually causing these mass wars, these mass world hunger?
And I think too that this might tie into kind of like what you've been telling me about, when I've been talking with you, but also just kind of like what's burning, it seems like, inside of you, your vision for this more peaceful society.
Right.
So, I mean, maybe how all that kind of just ties in together.
Yeah, I appreciate the question, and I totally agree with what you just shared.
Okay.
I think that it's an internal struggle of understanding who we are. It's not necessarily the war. It's not necessarily I want to bring up a word here that I think is really important, and that's separation.
Right, okay.
In religion, there's this notion that there's separation, that God's way up there and we're way down here, we're trying to make him happy. We have this separation of all these different nations. And separation, I really think, is part of the problem of pulling us away from the oneness.
Right.
And that oneness of us being spiritual creations, we all are thinking, this is my nation, this is my family, this is my team, this is whatever.
Right,
but
right.
really, it comes back to understanding who we are and our identity. And if we don't really understand who we are, there's going to be a natural gravitation for self-exaltation and materialism to conquer, and for man to have dominion over another man.
Right.
Exactly.
And that's where I really think we get into wars and strife, is where the egos get into play.
Right.
All right.
All right,
So
okay.
All right,
We have to go to
Coach,
commercial
we're going to
real
have you back on, but the main question is, who are you? Who are you? We need to answer that question if we want to reach this world peace. So, Coach, it's been a pleasure having you on here. We're going to get you back on. You're on fire, and you're burning, and you're full of peace.
One of my
That's right.
models for life is keep the big picture burning brightly. So
Right.
Keep the big picture burning brightly.
For sure.
All right, well, we'll be right back. Stay tuned.
Thanks so much, Coach.
Okay.
All right.
Hey, are you buzzing?
There's no doubt I'm buzzing. Are you buzzing?
Oh, I put the B in buzzing. Hey, you buzzing?
I'm bringing buzzing back.
Yep. Hey, are you buzzing?
Oh, for sure I'm buzzing.
Break it down.
Oh, I'm ready for it. Come on, buzz me.
Man, why is everyone so buzzed?
Duh! It's because they're watching the Entertainment Buzz on Wolf TV, the only place for all of today's hottest Hollywood news, movie reviews, and recaps of all your popular television shows. It's got everyone buzzing.
Wow, now I'm buzzed.
So get buzzed!
Real with Steph and Kev. I'm Steph,
I'm Kev, and we're keeping it real. This is show number 5.
and we're here talking about peace.
Do you have it?
That's right.
It's a great question. So, with us right now, we have his name is Buddy, and he
Thanks
is
for being
a Buddy. First of all, it's great to have you on here,
Thank
Buddy.
you.
Thanks so much for coming, bud.
Thank you very
And he is a performer. He does spoken word, freestyle, music, dance, all the stuff combined. He's just an awesome guy. So it's really great to have you on here.
Yes.
much. It's great to be on here. With that, I guess we're talking about peace, and I'm going to lead into a little something that I wrote.
Okay, great.
I would love to hear it.
Einstein said, "Peace cannot be kept by force. It can only be achieved by understanding." Mankind is now just beginning to understand. Dream always of a peaceful, warless, disarmed world, and it shall happen. I believe war is a product of fear that man must first be reborn by beauty into knowing so he might understand love. I once heard, if you want to make peace, don't talk to your friends, talk to your enemies. But who are the enemies? Us? Just who is waging war against us? Ourselves? I mean, there's a lot to talk about when it comes to peace, but really it's about rhythmically balancing yourself as well as your surroundings. Everything has a pattern, and it needs to be. You have to see to it that you tune yourself into that pattern. We are men of station.
Okay. Yeah, because I was talking to you before the show about this a little bit, how you were saying that kind of what you felt is wrong with this society in terms of reaching that peaceful utopia sort of thing, is that there's this imbalance, going on in society. But I don't know if you want to touch on that a little bit or elaborate. There
is a huge imbalance, and
imbalance between what?
We are all unbalanced. I mean, all day long we make physically, spiritually, mentally, we make unbalanced decisions. And to balance yourself out, you got to be organized. You have to organize and see what is most imperative and put things first, prioritize.
And not just organize our actions or our to-do list, but actually organize our thoughts.
Yeah.
Okay.
That's because our thoughts are what we are physically, and the more positive you think, the more positive things will happen.
Right. And actually, we have a story about the water. Wasn't there some story about the positive impact on?
Right, that like every thought that we portray has a positive or negative frequency, and so that my own thoughts can have an effect on like someone else's being, just because they're so much of this water,
And actually, I believe we have a DVD of this, a little picture of this. Thanks, Coach. Welcome back.
Dr. Masaru Emoto, who has done these studies that basically
we're going to zoom in on that.
There we go. Can you zoom in on this?
Yeah.
Get that?
All right. So he's done these studies on the effects of positive thinking.
Right.
And
our energetic
speech.
frequencies. Right. It's like a vibrational imprint that your thoughts, whether it's sounds, music, whatever, can have on the formation of these crystals. So basically, for example, he might take the phrase Adolf Hitler, tape it to a water bottle, leave it overnight. In the morning, freeze it, take pictures of it, and the crystals come out all like gnarled and nasty and just like really just disfigured. But then if he does something like Gandhi or King or Mother Teresa and tapes that on there, leaves it overnight, and then he comes back to that, it's just like forms this beautiful crystal.
Right.
So
okay.
That's the message of water in a nutshell, but we'll probably expand on that later. But just a quick side note in terms of like how we're trying to reach this ideal peace in our society.
And Buddy, you were talking about a big problem is fear, and that we do need to be reborn into this beauty, into this beautiful water crystal by our positive thoughts, our positive energies, our positive actions. How exactly? What would your advice be to people, or how have you done this in your own life?
Well, I think for sure that mankind cannot be reborn without beauty, and we have to realize that as much as we are in tune to someone else's beauty, the more that you find out about yourself, the more that you are and you become yourself is by noticing the beauty around you.
Okay. Seeing the worth like in everyone basically, and the worth in yourself.
Right.
And I think that's what we were talking about too, is like how we can achieve this peaceful society is by taking the action, by seeing everyone for who they are as a human being before everything else, you know, and getting past that like through interaction or whatever it is, putting yourself in someone else's shoes.
It's like last week, the boxes.
Getting
rid of all our boxes, getting down to the core of our being, finding out who we are, as Coach Clayton was saying, and just really letting that shine through us all, and really seeing the beauty in not only others but also ourselves, so that we can then achieve that peace.
Yeah, right now I'm working on some projects. The Revitalization of Mankind project, and that's involved with art. There's a new product that I'm working on that I hope will help to show people the beauty of God himself, or the beauty of a creator, a force outside of ourselves.
Okay.
And I do this by not touching the palette at all. It works its way out through gravity and the powers that be, and it shows fractal patterns, which is what we are, and it shows a lot of very interesting things. That's
awesome, man.
Yeah.
Wow.
Huh. Interesting.
That's real. That's real. All right, so I'm going to read a quick little excerpt that I think kind of deals with this whole concept of world peace. It's actually from Remember the Titans, and after that we're going to have a quick performance from our very own buddy, spoken word specialist, peacemaker. So here goes. Anybody know what this place is? This is Gettysburg. This is where they fought the Battle of Gettysburg. 50,000 men died right here on this field, fighting the same fight that we're still fighting amongst ourselves today. This green field right here was painted red, bubbling with blood. Young boys, smoke, and hot lead pouring through their bodies. Listen to their souls, man. I killed my brother with malice in my heart. Hatred destroyed my family. And you listen and you take a lesson from the dead. If we don't come together right now on this hollow ground, we too will be destroyed just like they were.
That's powerful.
For sure. For sure.
Wow. All right. Well, should we go into the performance?
I would love to see it. I would love to make some
see Buddy in action.
Some change.
Well,
all right.
First I have a little poem, and it goes a little something like, my heartbeat pulses a new station, pumping flowing veins of water. Take hold, my life given to you. H2O, the clues frozen to be still. See that I am. Perceive, believe, know that I am. Unbuckle fear, and be that I am. I stand uncorrected, constantly providing my living body with sustenance, no substance, simply for you to imagine my bodily continuance through me. Force form to be. Intentions warm me up, my spherical rhythms roundabout traversing cubic wavefield boundaries. My body is limited, condensed dependence. Senses are restricted, snap out of the body. Be, cause. Be, come. Your creative credentials creep slowly through bloodlines, mud spines eat my earth, bodily form build up bold and beautiful. Take hold of my balanced rhythmic desire. Know yourself, build the path past half-mast flags. Hither, your highness, dither, you fatuous, and spin out, crash. I wish you to be touched by inspiration. Retort in reverie, reverence towards me is most high to mankind, so servants you shall be. Severance of soul from body, just a mind piece, the puzzle's put together. We're separate, love exists, balance your being, and protect your seed.
Wow.
Wow.
It's deep, man.
Is that an original?
Is that okay with applause?
Yes.
Yeah.
I love it, man. I love it. I love it.
Wow. Thank you very much.
Wow, dude.
And I guess we're going to take a quick break.
Yeah.
But we'll be back to talk more about peace within
Let's
ourselves.
See another live performance from our very own buddy over here.
Right. Stay tuned.
Changing the
We'll
world.
be right back.
Keep it real. How many? Wait.
Okay,
what do we?
Hey, are you buzzing?
There's no doubt I'm buzzing. Are you buzzing?
Oh, I put the B in buzzing. Hey, you buzzing?
I'm bringing buzzing back.
Yep. Hey, are you buzzing? Oh, for sure I'm buzzing.
Break it down.
Oh, I'm ready for it. Come on, buzz me.
Man, why is everyone so buzzed?
Duh! It's because they're watching the Entertainment Buzz on Wolf TV, the only place for all of today's hottest Hollywood news, movie reviews, and recaps of all your popular television shows. It's got everyone buzzing.
Wow, now I'm buzzed.
So get buzzed!
Keeping It Real with Steph and Kev. I'm Steph.
And I'm Kev, and we're keeping it real. And guess what? We got Coach Clayton back with us.
That's right.
Keeping it real about peace. Do you have it? Who are you?
So we're back here with Coach Clayton and Buddy. And first we'd like to start, Coach Clayton, you have a story you'd like to share with us about peace?
Yes, I do.
All right, great.
I think sometimes stories are a good way to get a message across. I
Right.
just want to share a little story that I think might be a nice summation of what we've discussed today.
All right, great.
There was this old gentleman that lived in North Dakota in a small town.
Okay.
And he sat out on his porch.
Right.
And he sipped on his coffee and was a retired gentleman. And there was a family that was considering moving into town, and they drove into his town and pulled up and was looking for someone to talk to because they kind of wanted to get a feel for the community. So they saw this old gentleman sitting up on his porch, and they pulled up in the driveway and got out of the car and walked up and introduced themselves to the old gentleman, and they basically asked him, "Sir, I've been transferred, and we're moving to this area. We're considering which community we want to move to. We're just wondering what kind of community this is. You know, how are the people? What's it like here? What's your experience?" The old man wisely asked a question back and said, "I'm curious to know first how it was where you came from.
Interesting.
Where did you come from? Did you come from the city, and how were the people there?"
Right.
And the gentleman said, "It was really, really stressful. The people were very selfish. We were not very happy at all where we were at. We did not really enjoy the community we lived in. There seemed to be just a lot of tension." And the gentleman said, "You're probably going to find this community to be pretty much similar to where you came from."
Right.
They moved on. The next family came in, pulled up in the driveway, same situation. Another family looking to move to this community, and the gentleman gets out of his car and walks up to the old man, asks him a little bit about this community and what's your opinion of this community, and the old man asked the same question back. "What was it like where you came from, sir?" The gentleman said, "Man, I can't tell you how sad our family is that we have to move. It was such a joy. We love the people. It was just an incredible tight-knit community. We had lots of friends. We were very involved." The gentleman wisely said, "You're probably going to find this community to be exactly the same as where you came from." The lesson being, happiness, identity, and peace is internal.
Exactly.
You aren't going to go to this city or this community and find peace and happiness and joy.
Powerful.
You're going to bring it.
Right.
That's real.
Or you're going to go to a community thinking, "Man, is it bad, is it bad, is it bad?" And you're the one that has the problems, and you're going to bring the strife and the trials and the tribulations. So it's a very powerful story of a wise old man who understood what we talked about today, and that is peace, happiness, joy. It really is an internal thing.
Right.
Exactly.
And you talk about bringing the peace, and actually we're going to be having a peace day here
April 13th.
on April 13th in the Diag.
At the Diag.
And we'd like to thank both Coach and Buddy for being here with us today. We'd like to close with a performance from Buddy, who's going to touch on exactly what Coach was talking about, how we need to take this peace and internalize it in ourselves, and then we can go on and spread that to each other.
Animate it.
And with that, go ahead, Buddy. Why don't you send us off?
Well, I guess there is a perpetual spiritual battle in all electrical cattle, battling unilateral animals, forging us to evolve matter with the rendered eye. Despite demise by the devil disheveling our consciousness, religions losing wishes and niches, witches proposing paganism and pussy tricks, Dianetics and L. Ron Hubbard close that cupboard. There's a glitch in the matrix, so when I twitch my lips, you better flinch like Darwin's newfound Finch in Galapagos. Yeah, you better double your dose if you know what I mean. The good news in the world today is barely even seen, or rarely even recognized as good as serene. So I lean on one foot and balance my body. I've been called soot, but I'm made out of dirt and I'm rotting. He who follows is riding the wave of all of us, and we all wave together when our sorrows grow. Nothing but love, peace, and happiness.
That's great.
Wow, Buddy, getting after it.
Thank you so much. We'll see you back here next week on Keeping It Real with Steph and Kev. Have a great week, everyone.
Peace. And